Welcome, Vigor Warriors, Vigor Warriors 2. We are back with another episode of the 1% Club, and we're going to do something different this time. We're going to focus on some movie clips because I wanted to kind of highlight a certain horror star that I watched when I was a kid that I always felt was a very masculine frame. Let me give you a little bit of background on him. This is a man's name is Bela Lugosi, and he played Dracula, especially in the movie we're going to see, 1931. Dracula, and there's a couple color versions, and we have a couple other types of things that I want to show you that are black and white. But why did I choose him? When we look at the actual aura that he has back in 1931, you have to remember we didn't have like internet and phones and all this other kind of stuff that we have now, and so the technology wasn't very great, and people went to the theaters to kind of see this, and it was all still very new because the silent movies were still there. For some of you guys that don't know, we had movies that did not have any kind of voice, no sound. And so they were all kind of pantomime kind of figures who would kind of act out and try to get you to imagine the sound. And so you still have a lot of those people who came from vaudeville and different types of areas in theater to actually go ahead and actually perform on a screen. And actually, Dracula was a movie that was in the theaters, in the theater plays, before it actually became a movie in 1931. But they picked Bela Lugosi because of his Hungarian and strong European frame and masculine frame. And so we want to kind of see this almost like a James Bond character. This is way before James Bond, but this is 1931. And I want to show some frames, and I'm going to stop at times to kind of illustrate the strength of character. And the movie actually portrays it a lot more because everyone else seems kind of weak compared to this person. And this shows the power now of the vampire. Now it also shows you the attractiveness that the vampire has, especially for women. They like that combination of have someone who's very dangerous, but they also like the combination of someone who has, that kind of that aura, that energy that they have. And I'm not sure whether or not Lugosi was on retention or anything like that, but obviously he has this type of energy that we need to kind of look at. Now, we can't be obviously vampires, and I'm not suggesting because we want to stay away from the vampires that come after us, but you do want to look at some of his behaviors to kind of show you that as you're on your retention more, you will gain these type behaviors, which leads me to believe that at least in character, this is what he was. And that he didn't care that much about these women. He used them almost as something that he was focusing on, just having a feast and things like that. So he didn't really lose his energy, I'm guessing. Now, that's just a guess of mine, but that's kind of what I'm guessing. So let's look at the first scene. We'll see his entrance into this now.
What could have caused them, Professor?
Count Dracula.
All right, so let's look at this for a second. And you'll see his entrance. And you saw his entrance there.
It's good to see.
So when you watch him, you kind of look at the figure and the way he's standing, and you look at the shoulders, and he walks slowly. He also talks very slowly, and that makes a big difference in the way he presents himself.
Back again. I heard you have just arrived.
You also look at this hypnotic stare right into the person's eyes, and that's one of the things that the vampire is famous for when it comes to looking at his victims, which also entrances them. It's almost like the hypnotist, and so he obviously is not lacking for confidence.
You're looking exceptionally.
Pardon me, Dr. Sue. But I think Miss Mina should go to her room at once.
Professor Van Helsing, I don't believe it's as important as you seem to think it is.
Excuse me, Count Dracula, Professor Van Helsing.
So you notice the frame, and you notice that he's looking in a certain way, and you notice that he's slow in response.
Van Helsing. A most distinguished scientist whose name we know, even in the wild Transylvania.
So you notice that type of thing where he was actually kind of talking very slowly, and he used that type of masculine frame that we need to have with confidence. All right, so let's go ahead then, and we're going to move ahead, and I'm going to show another one here. Now we're looking at the entrance that he had, and let's follow this one a little bit too. This is just the beginning where he talks about he's Dracula. And watch this one carefully.
I am Dracula.
Okay, so if you notice that,
It's really good to see you. I don't know what happened to the driver and my luggage and... Well, and with all this, I thought I was in the wrong place. I'd be...
so you look at his and the way he looks, he's very in command of the whole situation. And that's something that you see with him, that he's really, his voice, his command, he's really the one in charge.
You're welcome.
So again, I want to stop it here. And you just notice that his, well, one more thing we'll do is notice his slow walk. One last thing he's going to say here.
Listen to them.
Children of the night.
Now this was one scary, you know what,
you
back in the old days. He had such an aura around him that people in the theaters and everybody was scared because of the way he conducted it. He actually was so good with it, the role, that it was very difficult for people not to believe how scary he was. Now one more I'm going to play here, and this is Van Helsing and Dracula, and you'll see the power in this type of scene here. And I'll try to break it down a little bit.
Helsing.
So first of all, he's Van Helsing, so he's got a very deep voice, if you heard that, okay?
Now that you have learned what you have learned,
So that's, now he's walking forward. He's once again the deep voice, which kind of indicates to me that he's on retention. At least he's holding his energy inside, right? Walking confidently. He's got ice there. And once again, those are all confident levels that it's very difficult when you are releasing energy to have this kind of stuff.
it would be well for you to return to your own country. I prefer to remain and protect those whom you would destroy. You are too late.
Now you see how he is right now. So he's standing straight up, his chest is straight out, and he's basically kind of giving a lot of eye contact and command in his voice.
Blood now flows through her veins.
And so they talk about the blood. We're not obviously concerned about that point. But the point is, you just look at him and how he's walking and acting. And he creates a lot of fear, but also a lot of anxiety. And when we look at the bad boy situation, this is what they unintentionally do, not even knowing it a lot of times, because they're very much in command of themselves. And this is what you can see here.
She will live
And he's a
through
good
the
actor with
centuries
this.
to come.
So as he's walking slowly, he's taking his time, look, not staying away from looking directly at Van Helsing.
As I have lived.
Should you escape us, Dracula, we know how to save Miss Mina's soul, if not her life.
If she dies,
So here again, he is once again on command. You look at him, you can just see the strength of character of this person from masculine energy.
by day, but I shall see that she dies by night.
And I will have Carfax Abbey torn down, stone
So here
by
comes one of my
stone,
favorite parts
excavated a
of
mile
this
around.
movie.
I will find your earth box and drive that stake through your heart.
Come here.
So here he goes. Now he's commanding this person to come here. And this is the kind of thing that, with the strength of the will, that this is what the thing that a masculine person does. With strength of the will, they're able to bring people forward who want to listen to his command. If you watch him, watch him this on this. Here again, he's talking about come here. Now you don't need to, obviously the hand part of it is kind of a little bit hokey, but when you look at this, you can see that he's drawing the person from his will
Come
to him.
here.
And you can see that he's moving. Now, is this real? Well, we do know cases where people can get that sort of level of control because they have so much energy that they're able to go ahead and command. people to the point where people are attracted. And then we talk about the benefits of retention. Even though we don't know if he's really on this or not, the character may be, but we know the person has lots of magnetism and energy because this person, just like a lot of people, would be attracted to this type of person in command. Now, Van Helsing's a strong-willed person, so he eventually backs up. But you can see the strength of character from Dracula. And so he will eventually admit that Dracula is a strong character.
Your will is strong, Van Helsing.
So I'm going to stop it here, but let me finish up a little bit here. So I think, guys, the reason I picked Bela Lugosi and the Dracula mask and frame is because when you look at characters like this, and you could look at a lot of different types of characters, whether it's vampires or, you look at someone like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, you look at these characters, they become really kind of extraordinary types of characters. And these are the types of things that women eventually are especially attracted to. We talked about that study, right? That indicated that women liked the vampire. Now, what is the vampire? Well, the vampire is this type of character. They like the werewolf as well because of the Beauty and the Beast type of thing. But this character is a dangerous type character, of course, because they can suck all your blood and kill you. But it's also a very highly attractive thing. This is why the movie at the beginning was more called a love story. When you look at these Twilight movies, and I think they're kind of hokey myself, but when you look at the concept, again, it's this girl falling in love with a vampire. And you wonder, what is that? Why is that? Well, it's that combination of being sexy and erotic, and also the combination of a person is, a killer, and that type of thing. So very interesting type of thing. I think it's a very interesting dynamic. But what I want you guys to get out of this is the fact that you can act like this. Once, the longer you're on retention, the more your frame becomes as strong as someone like this. All right, guys. So I hope this was interesting and hope it helps. And forgive my technology. I tried the best I could with this one. Hopefully we'll get better and better. Until next time, guys, battle on.